Greetings my little guzzlets. We're going completely vegan tonight, and in fact tonight is different from normal because I'm not just cooking for me and the wife, we've got guests coming. So I'm actually making a little of an earlier start, and we're going to start preparing so that it's ready to shove in the oven and cook, because what we're going to make is some Pons Anna again, which if you go back to my Titanic videos, which are getting on for about a year old now, we made them then. Make them slightly differently today. Still obviously using potatoes. And we're going to be serving that with some veg and a chicken pie. Okay, but remember this is vegan. Everything's vegan. So I'm going to start by melting down some vegan butter in here. I've got my potatoes sliced. Okay, we're going to start preparing the Pons Anna, get them arranged, and then they'll be ready to go in the oven to be cooked off. I've already made some vegan pastry up. I made it up yesterday. It's been resting in the fridge overnight. We'll get that out shortly, and then we're going to start on the ingredients for the pie. So, vegan chicken pie with Pons Anna and veg. So my butter's melted, it's getting hot. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take some slices of potato, and I'm just going to cook the bottom side, or whatever side, it's bottom at the minute, in my pan. Now, because of the way I need to cook these, ideally you want a griddle pan. You can make them up on the griddle pan, but I haven't got one big enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cook the bottoms off, okay, and then I'm going to transfer them onto my baking tray, or whatever you want to put them in, that will go in the oven. So we'll do the arranging on the tray as these are ready. So it's just a matter at the moment of cooking the potatoes. Now, what I've done already for the pie, I've got an onion chopped up finely, I've got a small potato chopped up, a small carrot, I've got some garlic minced finely, what else have I got in there? Oh, and some mushrooms, again I've chopped quite finely. Okay, so they're all in there ready to go. I've got some thyme and some parsley, dried parsley to go in. That's going in the pie. I've got some the old veggie butter to be cooking in. We're going to add some coconut cream or milk, and we're going to add some chicken stock powder. Vegan, no chicken anywhere near this. Okay, not even a picture one. Okay, now that's quite salty, so we're not actually going to add any salt. Okay, anyway, salt bad. Salt bad. I've got a little bit of flour, which will go into the pie stock, if you like. But the chicken is going to be this stuff, jackfruit. So I've got a few tins there which I've drained and rinsed off. So when the potatoes are done, we're going to be starting to cook off the jackfruit first in here. So really, until I can start arranging my Pons Anna, not much else to show you. So there we go. What I've done, I took them out, did a little sort of ring-ish thing of the potatoes, and then buttered the top of them, and I've gradually built them up into these little towels, if you like. Okay, making sure, excuse me, plenty of the old vegan butter on either side of it, and then some butter over the top. Now we're now going to put that into the oven. Okay, but obviously we don't want these browning too quickly. So what we're going to do is start with, I'm just going to cover it with foil, and it's going to go in the oven for at least 20 minutes, because we want to get the potato cooked, and then nearer sort of eating time, we'll remove the foil, and then we'll brown and crisping it off. So I'm just going to get that in the oven, and then we'll get making the pie. So I've got that same pan, I've added a little bit more vegan butter, and what we're going to do now is we're going to add in that jackfruit that, like I said, we rinsed because it was in brine, and like I said, there's going to be quite a bit of salt in that, in that stock powder, that chicken stock powder we're adding. So just put that jackfruit in there, get rid of that for a minute, mop up that water, and now what we're going to do is we're going to let that start frying through, okay, and then I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that powder over the top. We will be adding liquid as we go, but to begin with we just want to fry this off. I'm pretty sure you can eat this stuff. Actually, I might put a bit more butter in there. I'm pretty sure you can eat this stuff raw, but it's better if you cook it, and as you cook it, you can sort of shred it. If you sort of like hit it with a spoon or a fork or whatever, you shred it up and it will resemble pulled pork or pulled chicken. But obviously the flavour is all from whatever you add to it. A bit like the old soy mince. Oh, that was horrible. I remember that back in the day when that first came out. Depending on what you did with it, it never really worked, did it? Probably cooked it. Anyway, so I'm just going to get this frying a bit more, and then we'll catch up when we start adding the stuff to it. So this is, we'll mess remember not touching over that thing. It's beginning to break up a little bit, okay, as I stir it. Some of the internal bits, if you like, already starting to shred. Obviously we're going to need to cook it on for a bit more to get the bigger, harder lumps done. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take some of this magic powder, and like I say, we're going to add about a tablespoon for now, okay. We'll see how it goes taste wise, whether we want to add any more. Some people do say it's very salty, okay, so that's why I haven't added any salt to anything, but we'll see how we go. We'll give it a little taste. I must admit I have had jackfruit before, but that was in like a prepared pouch. It had already been, you know, partly cooked, shredded, mixed with various things. I think the one I tried might have been a beef flavoured one, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But first time I've actually properly cooked with it. Don't know whether you can see that, it's starting to sort of like, in bits of it are starting to resemble pulled chicken. It's got the same colour as chicken and pork, I suppose. So it's just a matter of keep cooking that through, and then we'll have a little taste just to see how much more of that we might need to add. Now we can add some veg stock, but I'm hanging back a little bit on that at the moment because we're going to be adding some coconut cream. Although perhaps I might give the coconut cream a miss actually, and just use some stock. Yeah, I think I might do that instead. Anyway, not much else going on at the minute. Still cooking that. Like I say, if I need to adjust that with a bit more, I will do. I've greased, we're doing individual pies, so I've greased the pans with the remainder of that vegan butter. And, well, once this is cooked, I'm going to remove this, and we're then going to cook them other chopped ingredients, and we'll add this back at the end for a little bit before we put it in the pies. But I've decided I'm not going to remove that jackfruit because some of the bigger lumps are still sort of like quite hard, and otherwise we'll be here all night trying to wait for it to cook. But a lot of it is all breaking up now, it's getting there. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in the potato, the carrots, the mushrooms, garlic and the onion, okay, and we're just going to stir all that in, okay, and then fry that off for a bit, okay. We'll add some stock in a bit. We've also got our herbs to go in, but just going to let this fry through for about 5 minutes first, okay. Now it did seem like there's a lot of jackfruit there, but obviously once that starts breaking up and shredding up, there's obviously quite not so much there. And anyway, if there's any spare, you just have it in a pasty, in some spare pastry. So, just going to continue cooking this for a bit. So I'm going to sprinkle in the thyme and the parsley, got about a tablespoon of each, and I'm going to put about half a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper in, and then we're just going to add some stock. I'm not going to go overboard at the moment, we can always add some more later, and we'll also be stirring in a little bit of flour just to thicken it up in a bit. But the jackfruit, I'm continuing as I'm sort of like stirring it around, press down all the lumps of jackfruit so it's becoming more and more shredded. Okay, we'll add a little bit more stock, I think. And so while that's cooking, I'm going to start rolling my pastry. Okay, so remember you need to cut some lids first, and then we'll line the pan so they're ready to go. And keep an eye on the potatoes. Did look just now, they started to cook through nicely. When we put the pies in, we'll take the foil off so they start browning, and if need be, right at the end, we'll just shove them under the grill just to brown them off. So I'm just lining my pie tins, but in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of flour, just to obviously thicken up that sauce or stock or whatever that's with the chicken and the veg, and then we'll just let that cook for another 10 minutes, continuing every now and again to give the old jackfruit a bit of a squashing. Okay, and it's breaking up nicely. So just going to finish off my pie tins and then we're almost there. Right, there's my pies, lined, filled, and the lid's on. Vegan pastry is a bit weird. But anyway, and then just put a little vent on the top. Now they're going to go into the oven for about 30 minutes, okay? And at this point I'm going to remove the foil off the potatoes so they'll brown up on top. They're crisping up nicely underneath because I've had a little look, but obviously we want the tops nice and brown as well. So there's our finished pies just coming out of the oven. Just going to release the clips. The Parmesan are out on the plate along with some veg. So just going to get serving up. I'm going to taste these tonight because they're too hot, and we're going to sit down together and eat them. So there you go, there's our vegan chicken pies with Parmesan and veg.